Welcome to our 4x2 bigger tank carry-on review. In this video, we're gonna break down this suitcase. I'm gonna show you the top features on this bad boy. We're gonna pack it out. And in the case that you're not quite sold on this suitcase, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the review where I'll make some alternative suitcase recommendations that might better suit your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the 4x2 bigger tank carry-on. And what is interesting about this one is it's got some unique features and like some different things that it's bringing to the table that I think might be a bit more niche, but will definitely speak to certain travelers out there. Some of those top features being, it's a hard shell suitcase that has a hidden expansion zipper, a TSA lock. We've got a quick access compartment in the front that also is where you access the main compartment. And we'll talk about the pros and the cons of that in a bit more detail 2 sections from now. We've got an external charging station, but possibly most interestingly of all is this handle, which as you saw, can in fact fit a tumbler or any water bottle holder. But what's cool is this cup holder can actually also hold a tote and or be like your portable iPad like movie theater center. And we're gonna break it down in full detail in the next section. The suitcase currently comes in 7 color options. For the dimensions, we've got a height with the wheels of just under 22 inches and the width of around 13 inches. Non-expanded depth around 10.5 and an expanded depth of around 12, just over 12 I'd say. For the weight, looking at 8.7 pounds on scale number 1 and 8.4 pounds on scale number 2. The bigger tank carry-on comes with a lifetime warranty against any manufacturing defects. And for all that, this suitcase runs around 330 USD. And if at any point in this review you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, that's the cup holding expandable suitcase of my dreams, totally grabbing one. All right, let's talk about the outside of the 4x2 bigger tank carry-on. And we always start this section by talking about the aesthetic. And I think this suitcase is a vibe. I kind of think it's for the ladies out there. Don't get me wrong, like I could see a dude rocking this, and on the 4x2 website, they got some male models. And I think that's because of the color options that it comes in. The sort of playful, not too serious, but you know, refined design. But then also like the tumbler cup holder, which we'll talk about in just a second. Don't worry, it's interesting, definitely interesting. Starting with the material, it is a polycarbonate hard shell, but it's also gonna add to the weight. This is almost 9 pounds, so if you're traveling in Europe or Asia, where airlines are getting more restrictive and actually weighing all your carry-on, the weight of this hard shell is gonna take up half of your available weight capacity for traveling anyways. So it's very important to keep in mind. On the bottom, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 360-degree wheels. Now, again, I'm not a suitcase expert, but I've reviewed a few. And these are interesting because they're quite smooth and they got a bit of rubberiness to them. Now, typically on higher end suitcases like this, we'll often see the wheels be outsourced to a company called Hinamoto, or at least in my experience, that's been one of the more consistent retailers and suppliers for luggage wheels. Japanese brand, they just do it the best. These wheels though, I'm not sure if they are from a different supplier or if 4x2 makes them in-house. I can't speak to their long-term durability, but more or less as we were testing this suitcase outside, they seem strong, they seem durable, and they definitely had a very smooth sort of glide to them. Also on the bottom, we've got a little handle here. This is not a carrying handle, it's just one of those nice features to have for when the suitcase is in the bin overhead, right? In case you put it in backwards, it's still easy to grab, get quick access to. But speaking of the handles, we've got one on the side and one on the top. These handles feel great. As you can see, they expand, making it easier to grab, just making it a more satisfying carrying experience. And when they're not in use, they stay flush, very strong, a very nice design. But I think we should talk about the star of the show. Let's talk about this handle. Because while this suitcase does have some unique selling points, I do think the handle is the primary differentiator. And 4x2 actually has a patent on this specific design. Now 4x2 has a cup. It's a cup, it works, nothing positive or negative to say about it. And you can see it perfectly fits the dimensions of the handle. And you're either gonna just love this at first sight or be like, why is this a thing? For me, probably not a feature that I'd personally use on my travels, but I get it if you're out there, especially you ladies, you might have a purse. That purse does not have like a dedicated external water bottle holder. You know, so you're probably doing the purse in one arm and your tumbler in the other, and you're bringing your suitcase along, or you can just do this. And this is much smoother, dude. Much smoother. Testing out a few different water bottles though. I got a 24-ounce Columbia. You can see we are not fitting. And same thing with my 1-liter Yeti. So while we do have a cup holder, it is limited in terms of the cups that it can hold. Good news though is that the 4x2 cup does fit absolutely seamlessly. Just taking a closer look, you can see how this cup holder is designed. You're looking at a max width of just under 3 inches. So it's definitely gonna be ideal for a water bottle that tapers. We have a thinner bottom and then it hopefully tapers up to the top. And you can see if you got a JBL speaker, it can actually fit pretty well. So if it's JBL speaker sized, it's gonna fit. Yo, that'd be so cool bringing this to the airport. TSA would love that. Just blasting your jams, just like, I don't know, playing like Limp Bizkit loud as f. But the interesting thing about this cup holder is it's not just a cup holder. It can also be your multimedia stand for those times you wanna watch the newest season of White Lotus on your iPad. Again, you're either gonna be like, WTF is that for? Or, oh my God, that is the travel bag of my dreams. Standing next to it, and you're just like, bro, I am locked into White Lotus season 3 right now. What is Rick going to do? There's no way he's that stupid. Spoiler alert, he is. Just finished White Lotus 3. I was not happy with the ending. And it should be noted the iPad security is enhanced by this little guy right here, which can rotate, then giving you a little back base that you can safely keep your iPad connected to your suitcase with. But keep in mind, with every pro comes a con. So if you're used to using a backpack that has a luggage pass-through holder, you're not gonna fit it over this. So that's sort of the trade-off, right? This handle has way too much bulk to be able to pass that luggage pass-through over. But I could see this handle being ideal to hang a purse off of. Let's see, maybe even like this little tote. So yeah, you can see, you know, if you're doing something like this, right, you just got a smaller bag with you. Doesn't have a big old luggage pass-through holder. You can just clip it onto the bag and it can hang like this. A regular luggage handle ain't gonna do this. But a regular luggage handle, you can slide a backpack on there with a classic luggage pass-through holder. It's a bit of a pro and a con. I kinda wanna hear your thoughts though. Like, is the trade-off worth it for this handle? Do you prefer something a little bit more old school? Or does the tumbler access like totally, you know, get you stoked? I'm not gonna lie, with this setup, you're kinda good to go. Let me know in the comments below. Now real fast, when it comes to the handle, it's not just a cup holder, it's actually the way that you drag your suitcase behind you, right? And I'd say it's a pretty good handle. Again, I'm not an expert in this kind of stuff. All suitcase handles to me feel pretty similar. They all got a little wobble to them, which I think is good. It makes sure that they're not too tight. But at the end of the day, carrying this suitcase around, it just felt like a suitcase. Nothing really crazy. Hydrate my tumbler. Ah, that's nice. Now to get in the main compartment, we do have this TSA lock, and you also have a charging station right here. This allows you to put your battery inside the suitcase, connect it to the station, and then connect another wire to there, and therefore you can kind of charge your phone while you're on the go. And what's nice is they provided this little waterproof plastic piece right there, just to ensure that your electronics are not getting soaked, in case you get caught in a rainstorm. Now we also have a TSA lock. My code is 000. Tell no one. And you can see, very satisfying, easy to use, and nice for those times where you do have to check the bag. And that's the thing these days, like, travel's getting weirder. I just literally flew from Hong Kong to Vietnam with a not huge backpack, and they pulled me aside and weighed the bag, and they said it's too heavy, you gotta check it, you know? So like, if that's happening with a backpack, it's gonna be happening a lot more with suitcases, but that's more for international travel. US travel, you're still kind of good to go. They're not weighing. So we're unlocked, we're about to get into the main compartment. Let's transition into the next section and talk about the inside of the 4x2 carry-on suitcase. One thing to know about these zipper pullers is they're nice because they lock so well and so cleanly. But just like all TSA zipper pullers is like, they're very, like, to be able to be lockable, they're very firm and weird shaped, and they're just not satisfying to open and to close. Then you can see we're inside the main compartment. Now what's interesting is this. So we have this gusset style opening to this front compartment. And you can see in here we have 2 mesh pockets, and then 2 lining sleeves. But then behind the lining here is how you actually get into the main compartment via zipper. And then we have full clamshell style access. Now inside the main compartment, we have zipper pocket here, internal compression straps, another zipper pocket, and your charging cable. This suitcase is 41 liters unexpanded, 51 fully expanded. And I think that size range is gonna be great for most people for around a 1-week trip. So you can see right here, I got my packing cube with a week's worth of clothes, smaller packing cube with all the underwear and socks that I'll ever need, a pair of shoes, bathroom stuff, tech stuff, backup hoodie, and that'll be about it. Let's get an idea of how much extra space you get with the expansion. 10 liters can go a long way. You can see, we'll pop that up, and oh yeah, now we got a bit more room to play with. And you can see what was tight before, now I can throw another backpack in here, another tech pouch, umbrella, hard drive, and that should about do it. And that is all now hidden behind this front pocket. Now, one thing to note about this front pocket compartment area is that these gussets can be unzipped. So although the gussets stop the front compartment from opening all the way, you can still go full clamshell opening for here as well. What's nice about this design is that we've cut down on zippers. We don't need a zipper for the expansion, for the main compartment, and for the front compartment. We've actually cut one of those altogether, so it's one less point of potential failure on the outside of the bag. But more or less, it might be annoying to have to open this front compartment to get into the main compartment every single time. But what's nice about the front compartment is it's kind of designed in a way where it's like, you don't have to do that. The whole point with the main compartment is it's got all your bulky stuff in there that you just need once you get to your actual destination. So then in this area, you can fit your 16-inch laptop. This is the size of a 16-inch MacBook Pro. You're not gonna get any bigger than that. So definitely no 17-incher is gonna fit in this bad boy. 12-inch iPad in the tablet sleeve. Velcro securer. And then on these zippered pockets here, good for things that you want quicker access to. I'm gonna do my AirPods at the bottom, some gum and some meds, packable tote at the top in case I get my shop on, grabbing some souvenirs. But here we have the issue with not just this front compartment, but a lot of front compartments like this on other suitcases. It's where if you pack it out too much, you're not gonna get it closed. So do keep that in mind if you're traveling with this bad boy, with it expanded and fully packed out, you're not gonna fit anything bulky in this front compartment. Thinner things will be fine, but yeah, now we're packed up and good to go. One nice thing about the main compartment too is that 4x2 gave you a bit of extra packing space by putting the handle on the outside of the suitcase. Now, granted, it still takes space from the main compartment, but not as much as if it was like fully covered, right? So they gave you a couple centimeters, which will be noticeable when you're packing the suitcase out. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.